And so you can't sit there and point out, oh, look at this AIPAC funding, look at this ADL influence, look at all this, Jew bad, Israel bad, Israel bad, Zionist bad. And then just ignore. So this post was going mega viral yesterday. It's a guy holding a sign that says Islam will enter every home. Bunch of people reposting it. And I'm kind of happy to see the tide shifting, because after years and years of being told that questioning Islam is somehow Islamophobic, seems like people are finally starting to wake up to the reality of what the religion is. And we even have people as big as Caleb Hammer and Asmongold pointing out the hypocrisy of Islam.
Raised Catholic.
This is a highlight from Caleb Hammer's financial audit. His full video in the description.
Islam is probably the most feminist, most
Islam is the most feminist religion
there is.
There is.
Very much protective of
Yes, it is certainly Middle Eastern countries that are most well known for their feminism and freedom for women.
It is.
The Middle East.
If they're practicing Islam, yes.
So you're saying they're all practicing it incorrectly everywhere, including Mecca?
I mean, if they're oppressing people, of course, yeah.
But you're telling me women are more free in Islam than any other religion?
I feel like,
okay, here we go.
it's...
With the most theocratic regimes being Islamic right now, with the least freedoms for women and most violence against women than any other countries.
Yes.
I think that's all because of media portrayal. I don't...
Oh my God. Such an elaborate delusion.
What?
Yes. It's media.
The media.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the fact that they are portraying these countries in a certain light, and that...
So when women had a lot of freedom under an oppressive regime that was Western-focused dictatorship in Iran, don't get me wrong, not perfect, but when they had that, women could go to school, women could work, women could go outside without wearing the outfit.
You're talking about Iran?
Iran.
So women don't work or go to school there? Check your facts, Caleb.
You think they have the same freedoms they had before it became a theocratic regime?
Well, by freedom, what is your definition?
By freedom, what's your definition? Okay.
Women can go out naked or what?
Naked? How about just not wearing the outfit without getting beaten? And
they get beaten? And
yes.
locked up if they don't
the
wear
morality police? Yes.
Okay.
What? Yes. Again, this is not an anti-Muslim thing I'm talking about, but when you are going to come here and say it's the most feminist...
It's just the willful ignorance is crazy, right? Because we know these things happen. The stories come out all the time of women getting acid attacked, beaten, prosecuted, killed for doing things that aren't harmful to anybody, like showing their elbows in Islamic countries. Because the whole hypothesis of radical Islam thing is a lie. Like, it's Islam. It's the religion. It's what's part of it. The radical ones are the ones that actually follow some kind of normal Western philosophy while taking part in the religion. Most people, if you follow Muhammad's teachings or if you follow the Quran, these are the things that teach. Muhammad lived into his 70s, and most of that time he was a brutal, vicious warlord, chopping off heads, taking women as sex slaves, marrying 6-year-olds and consummating at 9. That's who he was.
In Saudi Arabia, they just got the right to drive a couple years ago.
I remember I had a friend tell me about that. He was in Saudi Arabia. He said that, well, he was my friend, so you can imagine what he said.
You would be beat in Iran if you took the scarf off.
Yeah.
No, I mean...
What, you get beat in San Diego? Is that what you were about to say?
No.
I don't think that's the case. I don't think the American government has officers around beating you for not wearing certain things.
Not necessarily in that regard, but...
Not at all in that regard, actually.
Yeah,
I think what she's saying is the media had a certain portrayal. No. The media had a certain portrayal.
What was that portrayal?
And then she met me.
And this is, the problem is that I don't know why people go so hard to defend obvious bad behavior.
Exactly.
This, I think, is doing so much negative PR for, like, anything Islamic. It's crazy.
They can say all they want. That doesn't mean they...
The problem is it's doing negative PR and they don't want to speak against it because it's their religion. Like, that's their religion. That's what they believe is the correct thing to do, how you should live your life. Women should be cloaked and veiled. That's what they believe. You can't do bad PR for that when that's the belief.
They actually
are practicing
do it.
The principle.
Okay, well, are we going to do the whole thing that Christians do with shellfish and a bunch of shit like that? Where we pick and choose what we like depending on our world values? Because you guys are more Western?
No, but here's the thing. This is what I'm going to say, okay? Because I think what she's trying to say is this. When we started...
Are you guys in debt?
We're in so much debt.
Okay, then you're not following Islam.
Uh-oh.
Principles.
That's true. We're We're in so much debt.
Okay, then you're not following Islamic principles.
Oh my God. Wow.
Then what the f- are you gonna tell me?
Honestly, I love this guy. He is so based. It's just, again, I don't have a problem with people being whatever religion they want, but like, you don't get to decide reality. You don't get to edit out reality and be like, oh no, this is actually, everybody's doing it wrong, including me.
So we are seeing the tide shift. The tide is shifting on Islam. No longer is questioning these insane practices by these religious zealots, getting it viewed as racism, even though it's not any kind of race, which doesn't make any sense. But people are actually finally becoming okay to speak out against the lunacy and hypocrisy of Islam. We got Mega make Islam go away again. Free mosque removal service. Oh, this is another one. This is a peaceful Islamic country. Look at the proud, liberated woman. Oh, how amazing, how empowering. Just ridiculous. This is the non-oppressive regime. Yeah. Just so gross. Man, this is a pretty based one. Hero with Muslim with the rot just spilling over. Trump chopping the head off of the snake of Islam. Don't judge the entire religion based on how only 97% of them act. Oh, we got more. Here's Asman reacting to the pro-Islam and pro-Iran protests going on across the U.S. This was just yesterday, I think.
Times Square holds a Quids rally, proclaims support for the Islamic Republic.
We proclaim our support for the Islamic Republic. Shame, shame, USA!
Oh my God.
Iran is the central pillar of the struggle against U.S. imperialism.
Then leave. What do we do? Why are these people in the country?
Crowd was chanting that they support Hezbollah and Hamas, both of which are designated terror organizations. Take a listen.
Say it loud and say it clear! Say it loud and say it clear! We support Hezbollah here! We support Hezbollah here!
Why is this not just an automatic deportation for everybody? First Amendment doesn't count for terrorism. Think about it. Just take a step back and think about it. Think about how retarded it is that we're sitting here listening to these people.
Through hundreds of apparent terror supporters.
I agree, but citizens? Nah, dude, that's crazy. What do you think? Just because somebody's a citizen, you should let them support terrorism here? Like, can we please disperse with this fantasy that these people are really American citizens?
Thank you. Finally, somebody is saying it. We've had all this, like, between Trump derangement and Israel derangement, when this whole time, the person funding most of these insane activities in the US is Islam. You have all of the Islamic Middle Eastern countries dumping billions. Qatar, it was like $6 billion that they donated to universities. Do you wonder why we're having all these, pro-Palestine, oh, it's a genocide protests on every college campus with them targeting people from other religions and everything else? It's a no-brainer, guys. Like, it's a no-brainer. Everybody wants to run around with the track AIPAC. Oh, this senator took $3,000 from AIPAC. Rah, rah, rah. But, they take 25 million from Qatar, and, well, who cares about that? It's ludicrous, man. People who believe in a radical ideology. And, like, I got my Quran right here, okay? I've read this thing front to back. I'm not speaking on, just some pulled out of context pieces. I've read the whole thing. The first third of it, it's basically Christianity. The back 2/3 is insanity. And yet we wonder why our college campuses have turned into makeshift third world countries and stuff, with places being taken over by radicals and bombs being thrown and students being targeted for religious reasons and fire bombs and all this other crazy stuff. It's because we're allowing the influence of one of the most radical, not to mention colonial, religious oligarchies into our country. and everyone's just on the take and everyone's cool. And up until recently, nobody's really been calling it out. You know, after 9/11, we had this whole, Islam terrorism, we gotta, look out, only the radicals, or the bad ones. We had this whole mind shift diff, and they were literally saying right to our face, okay, guys, just the blatant terrorism isn't gonna work. We gotta send people over there, have a bunch of kids, and then the 10 million that they let us bring in will turn into 30, 40, 50 million in a generation, and then we'll be able to vote ourselves into power, dismantle the Western world. Like, they've explained this plan publicly, and yet everybody's worried about conspiracy theories when this plan is playing out right in front of your eyes. I'm so glad people are finally waking up to it.
Identify as American citizens? Do they care about American culture?
Nope.
Why are you letting this legal distinction determine your ethics and your morality? You should think about what the right thing to do is. They have a poster of Khomeini. Oh my God. And now he's holding up more photos of the Iranian. Oh, that's the... Oh, look whose flag it is.
Oh, let's talk about our favorite flags.
Oh, like overall, what my favorite flag?
Yeah.
Hezbollah.
It's the mustard flag. Somebody said there's a new bomb threat. A new New York City bomb threat. Can you believe that? The New York PD bomb squad rushed to a Upper Side 9/11 call. They really like making bombs over there, huh? They really like their bombs. I think that what happened, why there's been like a huge escalation, it's because of the Iran war and some Muslims thinking that it is Islam that's under attack rather than a regime that uses Islam as an excuse to oppress people being under attack. Because the mayor excuses and encourages it. I think that he rationalizes it.
This was a vile protest rooted in white supremacy entitled Stop the Islamic Takeover of New York City.
And then somebody who was Islamic threw a bomb at them. But you're not going to mention that. New York City Muslim mayor names New York's first trans woman to lead LGBTQIA+ office.
We all know too well the queer community, as well as intersecting communities and adjacent communities, are under extreme attack in this country from all angles, it seems, from the highest levels of government to society in general.
Oh, God.
And to even sometimes people that we consider friendly fire, unfortunately.
Wow.
And so now more than ever in this moment, it is so critical, I think, to have trans leadership, because...
What do you need? What do you go to the gay office for? What is the purpose of the gay office? Like,
right?
I don't even understand this.
Are under...
It's because they're both corrosive, evil ideas. You know, you have Islam, which is basically the religion of oppression, and then you have the LGBT community, which is the religion of degeneracy. So of course they're going to join up, because both of them are for the same thing, the fall of the Western world and common sense and morality and growing the strength and population of the world.
Extreme attack in this country.
So let's ask, how does Hezbollah treat the LGBT plus community? Hassan Nasrallah, head of Hezbollah, those who commit this act, even if they do it once, are to be killed.
But you know, it's really nice to see people seem to be coming around and really starting to understand that there is a consistent and repetitive problem. Unfortunately, not everyone is on that same page, as we'll see here in a sec. Nick Fuentes seems to think Islam and Iran are the keys to stopping Israel, I guess. I mean, it's just...
You're rooting for Iran to survive. Iran is fighting for all the goyim here, because it's the open-ended question is, does Israel control the whole world? If Iran vetoes that, then the answer is no. If Iran falls...
So the logic is, if I'm following, that since Iran wants to murder and kill all the Jews in the world, which they openly state that they do, this isn't like some kind of hypothesis I'm coming up with in my head. They literally scream, death to America, death to Israel, kill all the Jews. You know, they love to quote the part that talks about, oh, if there's a Jew hiding behind a rock or a tree, the rock will call out, hey, good Muslim, good follower of Muhammad, there's a Jew behind me, come kill him. And yes, that's a real verse. That's when people talk about Muslim being a religion of peace, that is the time of peace in Islam. The time of peace is when all the Jews are dead, all the Christians are dead, everyone is converted to Islam or has been killed, and everyone is so on board with Islam and Muhammad's teachings that even the rocks and the trees will call out the non-believers so that you can slaughter them. And then the world will be at peace, because we'll all agree to the same things. We all agree that Muhammad is just the coolest. That's when the world's at peace. Okay, so when they talk about, Islam is a religion of peace, that's the time they're referring to. Okay, they're not talking about right now. That's why there's so much confusion when people read these pretty quotes from the Quran, but you got to understand how we get there. See, that's the difference between Christianity and Islam. Christianity, you get to peace on earth by loving one another, working with one another, loving thy neighbor as thy own, repenting for your wrongdoings and your sins. Islam, you get there just by, just kill all the people that don't believe. Then it'll be a peaceful world, right? A+. Ludicrous, man.
Then the answer is yes. If Israel can destroy a regime that's fortified inside of a mountain behind thousands of missiles and proxies and 1 million soldiers, well, they could get anybody and they can have anything they want. And if they can't, it means the world is still free.
Yeah, the existence of Iran means the world is still free. What? Oh, man. You know, for the most part, I like Nick, and I agree with a lot of his takes, and I know he was canceled by, kind of the ADL and the Jewish leg of influence, and so I can understand wanting to target them as the source of all wrongdoing. But you have to be able to take a step back and look at things objectively, man. There's no rational person that can come to the conclusion that the authoritative, totalitarian dictatorship, religious oligarch that is the mullahs running Iran is a force of peace and freedom in the world. That is just insanity, Nick. Like, come on. What are you talking about? Imagine hating Trump so much that you end up defending a terrorist regime that literally kills women for showing their hair. Yeah, that's basically where we're at with the left in the country. And this is unfortunately just how some people like Fuentes tend to see the world. There will always be an Israeli connection. And you know what? It's fair to a certain extent, right? Because Israel is a very small nation that's trying to protect themselves. And so they have intelligence fingers in just about everything. That's part of the problem with them, is they have a lot of influence and sway over our country and our officials, right? That's what people don't like about Israel in our country. But at the same time, you don't think every other nation's doing the same thing? You don't think every nation does everything they can to try and sway the influence of the most powerful military and the most powerful economy in the world, including Iran and Qatar and Saudi Arabia and all these Middle Eastern Muslim countries? That's why they've donated 10x of what Israel has to candidates, 10x or 100x of what Israel has to schools and stuff like that. So if you're gonna be mad at one, then you have to be 10x or 100x more mad at the other. Otherwise, you just hate the Jews. Like, that's what it is. You just hate the Jews. And like, I'm not defending it. I would rather not have either, right? I would rather not have our education system and our politicians influenced by the Jews, but I also don't want them influenced by the Islamic regimes to 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 times more, right? And so you can't sit there and point out, oh, look at this AIPAC funding, look at this ADL influence, look at all this, oh, Jew bad, Jew bad, Jew bad, Israel bad, Israel bad, Israel bad, Zionist bad, Zionist bad, and then just ignore the IRC and Qatar and all these Muslim countries putting in 100 times the funding. Everybody talks about these 7K influencers for Israel, right? Nick's people love to talk about it all the time. Okay, yeah, that's weird that Israel paid a bunch of small influencers or medium-sized influencers, whatever, 7K, I don't even know what the details are, a month or something, to be pro-Israel. But you got a Iranian Pakistani person gave Tucker Carlson $15 million to start his media company. Which do you think has more impact? Some random influencer on the internet getting 7K or Tucker Carlson getting 15 million? You can't be mad at one and ignore the other and say that you're coming from a place of wanting freedom and prosperity for America. You're coming from a place of just bigotry if you only see a problem with one and don't see a problem with the other, when the other is far more egregious and a far more depraved mentality. At least philosophically, we agree with 80% of what like the Jewish philosophy, the Israeli world philosophy is. We don't agree with all of it, but a lot of similar values are American values. That's why the two countries are allies. And Asmon actually talked about this exact thing recently.
I don't care about Israel, but I don't think Israel somehow... I don't think about Israel, but somehow every time someone says something, the response is about Israel. I can't anymore. I think that the amount of Israel... I think that the Israel hostility is approaching a fever pitch where people will stop taking it seriously. I think that we're approaching that period of time where there is so much fixation around Israel and Israel's proximity to every single event that I think people are just going to get fatigued from hearing that everything is because of Israel.
Yep.
Those people need to be armed. Yeah, I mean, I hope so. It's very incorrect. Okay, that's my assumption. I guess we're going to have to find out. Clip it and let's wait and see.
So long story short, it seems like people are finally waking up to everything bad in the world is not just being caused by them shifty Jews, and instead there's a lot of powers at play, a big one being this Islamic force. There's also the forces of communism and the Marxist revolutionaries, and ultimately a lot of these forces like Islam and communism, the LGBT movement, these forces like to work together because their ultimate end goal is the same: the end of Western ideology, the end of Christianity, the end of freedom, the end of capitalism, because they all believe that their different versions of authoritarian dictatorships are a better option, whether it's a Islamic authoritarian dictatorship, a Marxist communist dictatorship, a democratic left-wing dictatorship where everything is just legal and people can do whatever they want and mutilate their children and whatever. It doesn't really matter. As long as everybody just consents, even if they're 3, they can consent. So if the Western world were to fall, you wouldn't see these people as amalgamous of the same anymore, because they would start attacking each other. But right now, why would they when the West is winning? Trump tackled Venezuela, a communist dictatorship, in a day. Trump took out Iran in a couple of days. It's almost completely done. I would give it another week or 2, I think, and we'll have it all wrapped up. Cuba, another communist dictatorship, is basically falling. Trump is working on a global chessboard to stop these powers at the source, while people are bitching about small local problems not getting fixed. Well, the reason you have the local problems, the reason you have these corrupt politicians, is because they are getting corrupted. The reason you have these corrupt judges is because they're being paid and supported. They're being brought into the country. They're being groomed for these roles of corruption. These Somali fraudsters didn't just wake up one day in Minnesota and decide to start scamming the government out of millions of dollars and flooding it to Democrats. This was all a plan, and Trump has taken out the people that created and have been facilitating the plan one by one. And I love it. I can't wait to see more of it, and I hope he succeeds for the good of the Western world, Christianity, and freedom. Thank you, guys. Let's get back to work. Keep praying. I'll see you in the next one.